Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 5th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some key strands to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. Now, of course, we've been in Sagittarius season, and as this week begins, there is still that flavour, the Sun, Mercury and Venus. And Mercury and Venus still very closely together. But we're going to see a change as on Tuesday, Mercury makes its way to the top of the zodiac, the 10th house, very much to do with how we think about our work and how we link to the wider world as it arrives in the sign of Capricorn. But it's going to be joined on Saturday by Venus, and they're going to continue their alliance. This suggests that our people skills and the way that we present ourselves can still be very important in terms of more worldly interactions. But right at the heart of this week, Mars, which has ended that very draining and enervating square with Neptune last week, that comes into play in an exact conjunction with the moon in the sign of Gemini, which is in direct opposition with the sun, with the full moon, and that occurs on Thursday. This is quite a volatile combination, I feel. So we can have very fast moving events, particularly around communications. Also, we may all find ourselves over the next couple of weeks wanting to defend our point of view quite fiercely. Also, some people can just feel enormously restless and want to break out and travel, be more physically active, but it is quite hard to embrace the more nurturing and more emotional energies of the moon in the detached sign of Gemini when Mars in its retrograde is so close to it. And I think, we see a lot of polarization of different viewpoints these days, so expect a lot of that in the following 2 weeks. The good news, however, is that Mars is in a semi-sextile with Uranus all this week. And if we can use our minds and our appetite for learning new skills, it could be a way that we can adopt fresh positions in terms of marshalling our resources. And of course, we're all needing to be much more conscious of the cost of things these days. Also, the Sun is going to be in an opposition with Mars from Tuesday through to the end of the week. So this is not a time to be too impatient, particularly around travel plans, because if we do rush to get to a destination, it's probably something that won't necessarily be to our best benefit. Much better to enjoy the journey and, if necessary, take the more circuitous but more picturesque route, whether metaphorically or actually. But also, as this week draws to a close, the Sun does move into a square with Neptune. So whereas Mars on the other side of the heavens was squaring up with Neptune from the start of October all through November and through the first few days of December, it's replaced on the other side of the heavens by the Sun. So the potential for confusion or amplification of sensitivities is given greater weight as this week draws to a close. Now, before I go on to tell you each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts, if you would like to understand what year 2023 will hold for you as an individual, and above just the zodiac sign forecast in this broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast for next year, the rest of this year free. But in my special package of 30% off, you can also get your life map. This is your character analysis to help you to understand the core energies that are at the root of your very being. Please see the link below for more. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me, and I'd be grateful if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're a long-term viewer, thank you so much for all your views. So Leo, your week commencing the 5th of December forecast sees Mars and the Sun in a strident standoff. This could give you a lot of extra energy, because Mars is obviously still in retrograde through to the 12th of January, but it has been in that blurry link with Neptune, which has been very draining, enervating. So even though there is a full moon this week, it is in the part of your situation which is to do with your friendships, your associations, your network, but also your longer term planning. Now, of course, the moon is much more sensitive, can be more subjective, but Mars can see a degree of frustration creep into all of those areas. But the position of the Sun and initially of Mercury and Venus this week is perhaps just asking you to think about your time management, where you may or may not be balancing your interests and your energy and your intentions in quite the way that works for your longer term hopes. So, for example, if you have some group involvements or some alliances with people that are using up more personal time than feels right for you at the moment, you could be asked to pivot and to make some changes. And obviously Mars being on the moon can be quite emboldening in some ways, but also can create a degree of turbulence. However, with Mercury and Venus moving into Capricorn, what you're being asked to do is to use the practical side of your nature get a bit more organised, find ways that you can squeeze a little bit more efficiency into your life pattern, and that can help you to focus on the things that you do feel very passionate about. So I think that this is a week when you need to prioritise, but not just about those everyday matters that are important to run smoothly, also about the things that actually give you a sense of enjoyment. And if you're scattering yourself too thinly and being too much of a people pleaser, I think Mars and the Moon on the full moon are asking you to assert your boundaries in a more firmer way.